unmuted. What's up, guys? Giving you a big shout right at the start there, and you couldn't hear it. What a shame. Hey, what is going on? Let's get started. Gonna be a little bit different stream today. 반가워요. 여기는 아침입니다. 그래, 여기는 아침이죠. Let's see. Zach, it's a Zach. Hey, what's going on, Brian, Travis? How you guys doing this morning here, this evening for you guys? Hope you're having a good Monday evening. Hope your Monday was off to a good start. Yeah, today is gonna be a little bit different stream because rather than like snap building something to completion, we're gonna actually be cutting parts off the runners and having to do sanding and gluing, all that kind of stuff, like actual building stuff during this stream today. So I'm not gonna finish building the kit today. That's not the goal. I don't expect to even come close. If we get like close to halfway done, that'll be a big deal. But I'm expecting to stream around 2-3 hours or so today, so just hang out for a while. We're building the Dachshund, and get it out this. The box is kind of a little bit big to put in front of the camera. And just while I'm chatting you guys up for a minute, I'm gonna put something in front of the camera so you're not just looking at my cutting mat, at least. There you go. So yeah, today, building a Machinen Krieger kit with you guys. I have live stream built a couple Machinen Krieger kits in the past, and maybe just the one, maybe just the cause, which is still not finished. Not finished, by the way. Anyway, let me just say some other hellos here to you guys hanging out. Potatoon over there on Twitch, hello as well. If you guys are watching on YouTube and you didn't know that I'm on Twitch, apparently that's a thing. Some people, even though there's the thing at the bottom of the screen down over there, some people still get like, oh, you're on Twitch? Yes, I'm also streaming on Twitch if you prefer to watch there. Kiro Pixel, hello as well too. Let's see, on YouTube, Christian, John, Drew, what's going on, guys? Perception check, Ghost Gundam. Let's see. Drew said he's building the Jehudi kit. It's always looked kind of cool. I've always wanted to build that. What was the one? I built the Anubis, and someday I'll probably build the Jehudi as well too. It looks cool. It's just one it's just always around, so I never feel like any urgency to want to build it because it looks cool, but I don't know. It's not something that I'm super chomping at the bit to get my hands on. Only 18 days. What's going on there? Ghost Gundam said, I joined the stream to hear him speaking Japanese. I was speaking Korean, actually, not Japanese. There's when your Gunpla Gate G TV is watching from Korea as well. He's also Korean, I'd imagine, or maybe he's not Korean. Well, someone typing in Korean. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it was a little Korean there for you. Sam said, I just finished snap fitting the MG Goof. Now it's time for touch-up painting and panel lining. Very nice. The MG Goof 2.0, perhaps? So, yeah, the reason... I'm sure I'll get into this again. You guys will hear me talking about this a couple times during the stream, but... the reason I like to build these Machinen Krieger kits live, every so often, is because I feel like it's a really good chance to kind of demystify them to a lot of people. Feel like maybe some people just don't really know kind of what they're all about, and it can be just maybe a little bit intimidating because they're maybe just look a bit more complicated from the outside or something. They just don't know what kind of to expect. So, like doing these live stream builds of them is, I think, cool. Just a good way to kind of help people kind of get a better look at what's the deal with these Machinen Krieger kits anyway, right? So this one is just a variant. The Dachshund here is just a variant of the grosser Hund, which has been out for quite a while. I think around 10 years or so, I want to say. Around there. from when the original first Grocer Hund kit came out from Hasegawa. I've got one here, actually as well, which I brought in because I just wanted to see how they compared. I wonder, yeah, this is 2011. Yep, when the first Grocer Hund kit came out. I'm pretty certain, if I remember correctly, that that's the original first Grocer Hund kit that came out. I don't know if there was a resin kit. Maybe there was a resin kit before that, but it's not Billy Nice. It's not Gruber. I could be. I could be wrong about the pronunciation. That's very possible. Drew Black said, Lincoln Wright's recent video got me interested in Ma.K. Yeah. And I think were these always Hasegawa? Yes, Eito. Yeah, I don't think there was any Nito kit. I think the Grocer Hund kit came along once later on, once Hasegawa was doing it. I think I heard Lincoln actually talking in a different interview, not an interview with me, but in a different interview. I think I heard him mentioning that like it was a big deal because Wave was doing like the suit kits and Hasegawa was doing like the ship kits, so like the Luna Diver and like the bigger ships and like the Falke, stuff like that. And so for Hasegawa to do this kit was kind of stepping on Wave's toes a little bit because it's kind of more in the realm of like the suits a little bit in its design and everything. So that was kind of I guess an issue at the time. I think I heard Lincoln talking about. I won't spend too much time on the story because, like I said, I just kind of remember it in passing from an interview that Lincoln did. I better leave it up to him to tell the full story about that, but in general. So, yeah, it should be fun. So we'll actually be cutting parts, gluing stuff, I'm sure, quite a bit. Getting high off some sticky green paint. Or not paint, not painting. No any paints today, I don't imagine, but extra thin cement. Getting some of those good getting some of those good glue fumes. We need a new Gundam show like Super Saiyan Gundam Pilots. I mean, I'm fine with them going back. I mean, I guess Build Fighters did this a little bit, but like in kind of a different way of like the super robot, like similar like G Gundam in that way. Yeah, I would be fine with them going back to doing something a little bit more like a G Gundam. I mean, like Build Divers and Build Fighters is kind of like that in that it's kind of like it's got that over the top element, but it's not that like the Gundams themselves are like super robots in not the same way as in like G Gundam. You know what I mean? It's just kind of an over the top. Yeah. Animation. So we're starting off building the legs. That's kind of boring, but okay, fair enough. I'll just follow the manual. Let's see. So I want to say, let me see here. I haven't looked at the manual very closely. Oh, okay. And we have the manual, and then we have another page here. I know it's kind of blown out for you guys. It's gonna be kind of a little bit hard to see. I'm gonna shade the light a little bit so you guys can get a little bit better contrast on that. But we have a separate page here with some amendments to the manual, I guess, where there was some mistakes in that. But that's later on for the body and the head, basically. So don't need to worry about that for the time being, and probably won't get to that at all today. Let's start off. So let me just kind of get myself organized here. And if we need, we might be doing any modifications and things as well as we go along. Kind of with these kits, in my experience, it's not always just, it's mostly not just building it straight as the manual says. You kind of have to modify as you go for a lot of this stuff. G Gundam's plot premise sounds too good not to be used again. Every country gets a Gundam. Yeah, Boomkin. I mean, it's fun. I like G Gundam. All right. So let's do it. Also, this is going to be... you guys saw in a recent video I got the USA Gundam Store 2.0 nippers. So this is the first time really putting them to the test. I've still, just for like stuff that I've been building recently, since getting these, I've still been sticking with the just the 1.0 nippers that I have. That is just kind of my go-to nippers. But I thought, building something cool today, let's use the new nippers. And we're also hearing, it was the Grocer Hunt, I'm pretty sure, which is also in black. I think I remember Lincoln saying, again in a recent interview or something, I think it was, maybe it was the one with John, maybe, or no, it was in his video, in Lincoln's recent unboxing-ish kind of video. He's mentioning how, like, storytelling about the Grocer Hunt and how it was his idea to make the runners black. Yeah, the Dachshund's runners are black. Yeah, it's a kind of metallic black, right? And he said people were complaining about it, and I was wondering, like, I don't know, what's the big deal about the black runners? I guess the hard thing about it, it's kind of hard to see the numbers on it, the letters and numbers, because it's not Bandai runners where like the letter is punched out. It's just on there. It's just like it's kind of normal raised, so it's a little bit hard to see because it's black. But Dianjo, thank you for the super chat there as always. I managed to wake up from my nap in time. There you go. Well, I didn't give you guys very much heads up this morning on this live stream, sorry to say. Because I wanted to start, usually I start at like 9:30 or 10 my time, but I wanted to start at 9 just to, I'm here, you know, I might as well just get started. So that's what I was thinking to do. So hang on, what's that? That's our rubber cable. Not this one, right? No, it's not that one. Must be this one. Where did I put my knife? Where did I put that knife? There it is. Saku-chan, good morning. So about those Iron Man suits, plan to live build one of them. Boom Cannon, I was thinking about live building the Iron Man suit, but I'm sorry to say I'm not. I just am kind of having to prioritize stuff because got a lot of stuff to do, a lot of like stuff on my plate at the moment, so kind of have to prioritize things. And I know that probably you guys would have been excited to see a live build of that. I understand, but I just wanted to live build some of this kit and wanted to live build the Arachne Attack Girls kit, because I put up the poll for you guys to vote on which Attack Girls kit you wanted to see live built, so I'm working on getting that ready for live building later this week. Paint the numbers with whiteout, that's a good idea. I mean, I'm not going to paint all the numbers on there, but at least just like painting the letters, right? I could do that. Yeah. Is it the Hulkbuster Iron Man suit? No. It's just the Iron Man suit Mark 85. So I think it's the Iron Man suit we see that he's using at the end of Endgame. I think, right? But I don't remember. That's at the end of Endgame. Obviously, that's where he takes the Power Stones, the Infinity Stones, and so I don't remember if that was like a part of the suit that we would have seen, or if it was just like something that like comes out like later on. Anyway, that's not part of the kit anyway. I built HD Build Divers Leo NPD kit recently and found some of the joints are a bit too loose, primarily the waist, ankle, armor, and feet. Yeah, I mean the Leo kit in general, I mean, that being a variant of the Leo. The Leo kit is nice, not like the, and I remember it being fairly solid, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's not the most solid kit out there. It's very simple in its construction, and Bandai's kind of been making kits like the 30 minutes missions kits are basically very similar to the Leo in the way that they're designed and constructed. So they've been kind of working on that for a while, and the entry grade Gundam is obviously the evolution of that as well too. Very similar. So yeah, the Leo was kind of like I don't know which one came out first, the 30 minutes missions kits or the Leo, but they came out around the same time, and they're kind of like Gen 1 of that style. So understandable that there'd be a little bit of looseness there. Maybe it was not quite perfected yet. Alright, so we need a little bit of this rubber cable, and let's see. Just trying to make sure, and polycap here. Polycap B and D. So how are you guys all doing this week? It's February. Oh, it's Groundhog's Day too. Lest we forget. Happy Groundhog's Day, everyone. I guess it's not Groundhog's Day there in America yet. I was gonna ask if you saw a shadow or not, but you guys don't know yet. I'll have to ask you tomorrow. There's no groundhogs here in Korea, so couldn't tell you on that. So that goes to the inside. And so how's this cable supposed to go? It's supposed to just go from there down into the foot, basically. So let's put this together first. And I'll tell you what we're gonna do. Well, hang on. Let's get a couple of the pieces on here, and then we'll put in the cable, and also put in some glue on that. We'll go ahead and glue those pieces together. I got the pieces over here for the other foot. I'm just kind of cutting everything out at the same time, but I'll just focus on one at first, and then we'll do the other one. So we need back to runner F here. F2, 3, 6, and 7. Okay, all these here. Happy Groundhog's Day to you, yeah. None of you guys are like, well, yeah, I guess it's not Groundhog's Day there for you, so I can't ask. I'll have to ask this later, but I was gonna say none of you guys are reliving this day over and over again, right? Watching me live build this kit over and over again. I hope not. One of those things like no matter what you do, even if you don't want to watch, like I already have been watching that, but you can't help but watch it again and again because it's fate. And D2 and 3. Now these are not symmetrical, so I need to make sure I put the right ones with the right foot. For this side, we need 2 and 3. And the other side is 1 and 4. And just gonna break off that piece of the runner because that's done. Okay, yeah, that'll do us for the feet then. That's all the parts for the feet for now. Coffee, where'd you go? Do you have any recommendations or advice when streaming Gunpla building? I started streaming Gunpla building some time ago on Twitch, and you were my inspiration for doing that. Bubble, I mean, not really. I don't know. Just build stuff and talk to people. If you're just starting off as a streamer and not like having a YouTube channel going first, like if you just are doing Twitch, I imagine going to be probably harder to build your audience. I think, you know, I've already kind of built up my audience on YouTube first, and then, you know, started streaming later, so I was able to get people to watch the live streams because I already had an audience built up of people just watching my just regular videos. But if you're just doing streaming from the start, probably going to be hard to get much of an audience for a while until you kind of get a little bit more well known. So I mean, you can just promote your streams, you know, just via Instagram or Facebook, in like different Gunpla Facebook groups. I think different groups have different rules about this, about self-promotion. So I mean, check whatever the group rules are. Most groups, I imagine, it's probably fine. Whatever, you just say, hey, I'm streaming on this. Especially if you're making a post about a stream. If you just say, hey, please check out my channel, and you're not actually streaming like right at that time, then I don't know, maybe some groups wouldn't be fine with that. Because I know like some groups sometimes will put up a post specifically for people to post their own channels and stuff. So I don't know. Anyway, point is, yeah, just before you go live doing a stream, you know, just put up a post on social media, on Facebook, Instagram. If you're multicasting to YouTube as well too, I think that's probably a good idea. Why not? Because I still think there's still a lot more people interested in watching Gunpla streams on YouTube than on Twitch. I think Twitch, you know, still primarily people are watching for streaming games and stuff like that. I don't think a lot of people go to Twitch in search of modelers to watch. You know what I mean? That makes sense. I think more so is the case that it's modelers that they follow on YouTube or on Instagram or something, and if they hear from those modelers that they're already watching, hey, I'm also on Twitch, then they'll go watch them on Twitch. But it's usually not the case. I would imagine that they just come across them on Twitch. I could be wrong, but that's what I would imagine the case to be, and probably will be like that for the foreseeable future. I don't know if Gunpla building or just like model building in general on Twitch is ever really gonna get that big. Doesn't seem like that in my estimation, but I mean, who knows? What kind of exhaust fan should you use to prevent glue fumes from making you all dizzy? I mean, just any sort of exhaust, as long as you've got, you know, some exhaust. And I mean, glue, I don't want to say it's not dangerous, because it certainly is. As far as I know, I mean, I would think glue is maybe not quite as dangerous as paint, for example, especially lacquer paint. I mean, I wouldn't use lacquer paint in here without at least a mask. And definitely would have some mask on, but you know, under almost any circumstances, I would also have my exhaust fan going. The only reason I wouldn't is if I was maybe doing a live stream or something and I was like showing something to you guys whilst doing the painting, and I had to kick off my fan in order to talk to you or something like that. But for gluing, I mean, I usually don't put a mask on before gluing anything, or don't turn on these exhaust fan, because I'm usually not gluing that much. It's just like a piece here, a piece there, and then that's it. I'm not just like sitting there inhaling paint fume or glue fumes for very long. Why is this part undergated? I don't like undergating on Gunpla or on anything. On plated kits, gotta be undergated. Anything else, no thank you. Just annoying. The Iron Man kits, both of them, were not entirely undergated, but did have a lot of undergated parts. And so that was fun. But the plastic on them was a little bit soft, but like not in a bad way. Not that the plastic like felt cheap. But the plastic was pretty easy to work with, which was nice. Goofy Goofer said, I like the idea of using the double Zeta face on the GPO2. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm still not totally convinced on that myself. I just kind of went for it, and I don't know if I really like it. I'm going to try to make the best of it. But, you know, I don't know if it will, how it'll turn out. I don't know. It helps that the buttress is a builder and works from Twitch. Yes, the buttress. Probably the most famous Twitch Gunpla builder as far as I know. She does have the advantage of being a girl. I think she's a little bit more easier on the eyes than watching someone like me. And I just want to say I'm not saying that in any sort of demeaning way. She's a pretty lady. That's all. So good. Most of the people who are big on Twitch that build models tend to build kits as a side thing. Yeah, I guess that's true. I think, yeah, I've seen that from other people. They do other stuff as well too, not only building stuff. 일주천 건프라 있을까요? 이월에 2월에 추천? 추천. I don't know 추천. 추천이 뭐야? 추천은 모르겠어요. You think I'm handsome too? Well, thank you, Brigadier Bacon. Appreciate it. As much as I love working on this, I don't really spend much time on this, so I don't worry about it too much. Hey, Sturgitty, what's going on, man? I figure anything working on Machinen Krieger that you'd be here. How's the kit treating me so far? I mean, only on the feet so far. I just kind of started, so far so good. But it's getting there. And so let's see. Got these next couple parts. It's time to add on. Like this. And like that. Okay, I'm gonna glue that. Because I am gonna be hand painting this, so like a lot of this stuff I can glue. I'm not worried about being able to take it apart again. It's like normally if I'm airbrushing whatever I need to, I would want to be able to take a lot of stuff apart to be able to paint all the individual parts and everything, like, but with this I can just paint it. Aside from Uzak, I've seen a handful of other VTubers build a Gunpla. Yeah, I have no doubt that there's other people on Twitch building Gunpla. Surely. Sanding stick. That's what I was looking for. I'm gonna put a little glue on this piece as well too. So. Alright. Got polycap. Ooh, and a little nub on there that I missed. We'll get back to that in just a second. And I think probably most of this seam line on the front of the foot is going to be covered by that piece we're going to stick over the top of it. But just to be safe, I don't know, I could test it first, but out of lays, I'm going to just put some glue on there first. Real quick, we'll just make sure this is kind of cleaned up a little bit there on the side. I'm probably shaking the camera when I do that. Sorry, I'll try to not be on the table. Sometimes with some parts, I don't know if I'm looking at a mold line or if that's supposed to be part of the kit. Oh, I can see in the instructions it's there as part of the design. So, okay. Let's just go ahead and stick that on there. Okay. And see the part for the bottom of the foot we can also go ahead and stick in there. Let me just give this a little test fit. I need to move that nub there, don't I? Hey, Zach, have you ever built a 5-Star Stories kit? The affronted, no, I've not ever built a 5-Star Stories kit. I've got one here. You guys may have seen it behind me. I've got the Wave LED Mirage kit. That's kind of been on my to-do list for a long while, but no, obviously have not built that kit yet. Do need to one of these days. I was kind of worried about doing a little bit more sanding on this foot before gluing this piece in, but then I thought this piece is just never gonna be seen, so I'm just going to just go ahead and pop that in there, because that's the last it's ever gonna see the light of day. Dark plastic can be pain for checking mold lines. Yeah, mold lines. Yeah, I mean, I can see what Lincoln was talking about. At first, when I heard him mentioning about the black plastic, I thought, well, what's the big deal with black plastic? That's not like that big a deal. But yeah, I can see it now. It is, I guess, maybe a little bit of a nuisance. I think I want to grab a clamp here. Hang on. I just have these obnoxiously large clamps, so I couldn't find any smaller ones yet. I mean, I'm sure I could. I haven't been looking that hard for them, I should say. So whilst that's drying a little bit, I'll just build up the other foot, and then we'll put in the wire bit, which is this rubber hose, which I think I'll probably will replace later, but for the time being I'll just put the rubber one in there. But before painting, I'll probably replace that with a spring part. Let's see, so with the Machinen Krieger kits, do we treat it like painting a tank plane scale model where it's as a whole, or Gunpla where it can be painted by sections. It's really up to you how you want to do it. Yeah, it's totally up to you. You definitely can paint it as like one whole big thing, and that's certainly, I think probably, yes, that is probably the more common way to paint this, or at least in like in halves or something like that, or in like a couple of large sections. I would say in general, yeah, the Machinen Krieger kits are usually, by most people, probably not broken down into like a lot of pieces for painting like we would normally would for Gunpla or whatever, where you would kind of almost break the kit entirely down to paint it, to airbrush it. I think even if you're airbrushing a Machinen Krieger kit, you're probably not break it down that much. A lot of it is going to be probably glued together before painting. Generally, but I mean, you know, it's really up to you. Machinen Krieger is freedom, as they say. Your take on Gundam markers. I want to paint the V-fin for an MGEX, but I don't want to purchase an airbrush. Yeah, Dunny, on that, I mean, I would maybe not even mess with a Gundam marker, just get like a gold Sharpie or something like that would probably work just as well and be cheaper, because it's not a like branded Gundam marker. You can just get like a gold paint pen or something like that, a Sharpie one or something like that. And if you're just painting just that unicorn V-fin in gold, I mean, that's simple enough. You can do that with that. I think would probably work just as well. If Bandai made Machinen Krieger kits, would they be cheaper? Yeah, surely. You know, because Bandai has the production capacity to make thousands and thousands and thousands of the kits, so they don't need to recoup the production costs by making the kits more expensive. They can just sell more of the kits. You know, that's never going to happen. I don't think that Bandai is ever going to make Machinen Krieger kits. I believe though that the Neko Buso kits are actually designed by Koyokoyama though. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But those are made by Bandai, and they're designed by Koyokoyama, who's the Machinen Krieger designer, but they're not, obviously. Those aren't Machinen Krieger universe kits. They're just made by the same guy. Someone know for certain on that, who can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's true. Are you going to review the MG Zephyranthes? I know it's old, but I love the design. See, Sean, I don't think so. I don't plan to anytime soon. So what's so special about Katoki? Donnie asks. I mean, he's just a mecha designer who's good at designing mecha, I guess. I don't know. I mean, he's made some bomb-ass mecha designs. If you like the Jin, what is your favorite variant? I do like the Jin. My favorite variant, I don't know. One thing that comes to mind though is like every time I see this kit at the store, I always pick it up and look at it and think, I like that design. It looks cool. But then I look at like the side of the box and think, yeah, but the kit sure does not look very good. And it's the Deep Arms, I think it is, the version of that, the Jin. It's one of like the I think it's from the MSV Astrays line or something like that. You know what I'm talking about? The one with like the big cannons and stuff on the shoulder. It's got a really cool look to it. And like the box art looks fantastic, so it always almost tricks me at the store. I'm thinking like, yeah, it looks awesome. And then I remember the kit does not look as awesome as it looks on the box art. Joe Makes Model said, recently got an airbrush compressor combo. The airbrush is a siphon type, which makes things unnecessarily more difficult. Do you have a recommendation for a gravity feed one? Yeah, I would recommend you to get a gravity feed one. That's kind of about it. I don't know. As far as like what brand or anything, I mean, I used an Iwata for a long time and a Sparmax, and like recently I've been using the Iwata again. Because the nozzle on my Sparmax one cracked, and I got the replacement part to fix it, but I just haven't fixed it yet. I've just been using the Iwata one. I've been lazy to fix the Sparmax one, but Iwata is owned by Sparmax, so I mean they're the same company essentially. But both of them I've enjoyed a lot, and they've worked, you know, for years. So. And the Iwata one that I'm using, it was actually not new to me. It was actually a hand-me-down, so it had already seen, you know, I don't know for how many years, but it had already seen years of use from the person who gave it to me. So there you go. That's saying something, I guess, right? Do you think we'll ever get a Zeta version K or version 3.0? Yes. Probably not a 3.0, but a Zeta ver K I think is certainly possible. I don't know, you know, if that'll be anytime soon or anything, but it's certainly possible. Yeah, sure. Let's see. I'd probably like to spend $100 or less. Yeah, if you're spending around $100, you should be able to get a good Iwata or Sparmax airbrush for that price. The Mr. Hobby airbrushes, as far as I know, are also pretty nice, and there's a good range of them for like just regular tier and then like the high tier, more expensive ones. I think they're the Procon Boy ones, which are going to be more than $100, no doubt, for those, I believe. But if your budget is $100, you should be able to afford a good airbrush with that. It's only when you go down below like $50 or so when it might get a little bit more dicey. But I mean, generally, you could use like a $20 airbrush and it would probably work fine for you for a while. I think it just, the question would be the longevity of it. I'm not sure if it would really hold up for as long as a more expensive one necessarily, but it's really kind of up to chance. I mean, who knows? You could get lucky and you could get a $20 airbrush and it ends up lasting you years and works totally fine. It's also, I mean, is it something that you're going to be, you know, taking good care of, cleaning it well, cleaning it regularly, or going to be using it every day or very regularly at all? These kind of factors could maybe come into play as well too. All right. So for our other foot, let's just go ahead and do this. Here. Why is always on one nub that I'm missing on the foot? So as you may be noticing, at the moment, just while doing this initial build, I'm gluing stuff and doing a little bit of kind of basic cleanup, but I'm not doing a whole lot of like real sanding and stuff at the moment because I will do some more of that later. And that's usually kind of how it goes. Even when I know I'm going to be painting the kit, I usually don't do a whole lot of sanding in like the initial build up. I'll just kind of build it up first and then disassemble it and sand it more. So that's what's going on with this one as well too. I'll do more sanding and stuff on this later. Just for the time being, I'm just focusing on just getting it together and any modifications or anything like that that we might have to make. we shall see. Like that. I think I probably just got a little bit of a glue fingerprint there on the underside of that. That's okay, at least it's on the underside. What are your thoughts on the expansion set for the MG Barbatos, Dallas? I mean, it looks cool. The thing is that you have to have more than one MG Barbatos kit. I mean, that can get kind of expensive. But if you don't mind picking up multiple Barbatos kits to make the different variants, or I guess you can just have the one and you just switch out the parts every now and then as you like. But you know, if you actually want to have more than one version on display at once, you know, obviously you're going to need more than one of the kit. So that's kind of why I didn't bother with it. I didn't get the expansion pack for the Barbatos. I had already painted and finished my MG Barbatos, so I didn't want to necessarily build another one. I'm sure probably at some point in time I will build another MG Barbatos when they make some other variant of it or something. So I figure didn't really want to build another one up right at the moment. Have you been inside the injection molding sites that birth these awesome kits? They're amazing. No, I've not, Billy and I. Especially not Hasegawa. I don't know if I ever would be able to. That would be cool. But the Bandai, I was supposed to last year, I was supposed to tour the Bandai factory with Adam after the Shizuoka Hobby Show, but because the Shizuoka Hobby Show was canceled because of COVID, we weren't able to go, and so that didn't happen. Hopefully, possibly this year, but I don't know. I mean, still at the moment, still travel is still kind of like not a good idea. So yeah, it's looking like maybe another year of not being able to go to Japan, which sucks. Because usually I try to go at least once a year. Hips and nips, gotta keep it sexy or we don't eat. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you said it best, my man. Yeah, Billy and I, that would be very fun. I mean, I definitely am missing trips to Japan. But, you know, what can you do? These parts, I'm wondering if they're really very different. I don't think so. If you guys watch live, if you guys like watching live building stuff, by the way, I mean, I know Bro Builder, Brian, is also working on this kit. I believe he's doing some live building of it as well, too. I'm sorry to say that I don't keep up with other people's live streams as much as I would like to. Just time constraints, you know. But I mean, I've seen photos and stuff of the work that he's been doing on his. Actually, I should say not a Dachshund. I believe he's working on. It's just the regular Grosser Hund kit. I believe it's not this particular kit, but same difference. So if you guys want to see what he's doing, if you like watching live stuff and you want to see what he's doing with his kit, I would recommend you guys check out his channel as well too. So yeah, I'll have to sand some more of that later, but let's go ahead and put in this wire. Like I said, for now I'm going to use the rubber one, but I probably will replace it later on. So you're meant to put it, it's going to be kind of hard for you guys to see, but from this little hole here and then around into the front of the foot there, basically. So it says to cut 2 pieces of that, but I think you can just drill straight through this part and then just have one longer piece that just goes all the way through. Seems like that'd be a much easier option. And sometimes that's happened, like when building these. I mean, I feel like I'm not that smart or experienced or anything like that when it comes to models, like that, like, especially compared to the people who are designing the models. But when it comes to stuff like this, I just wonder why they didn't make it a different way. Sometimes this just comes up and they're like, I'm not the pro. The designers of the kits, they're the pros. But the way that I came up with doing something seems like so obvious. Like I really wonder why they didn't think to design it in a different way. I don't know. I'm sure there's certain constraints and things like that that are probably the reason, that are just kind of beyond me. But yeah, it's not the first time where I've thought like, do you think we'll see other IBO MG kits like the Floros, Bale, Full City? And if so, which ones do you want? I'm certain we will see more in the future. But which one it will be, I don't know. I like the Floros design. It's cool. I don't like the transformation at all. It's really stupid. Ouch. But I'm certain, yes, we will see more in the future. The Vidara would also be cool. I think that would be a fun one as well, too. The Bale is just kind of boring. I don't really find the Bale that interesting, to be honest. It's cool colors, and like the head is cool, so it's got some cool features to it, but in general, I find the Bale kind of boring. Seeing as we are getting more Sentinel kits, do you think we'll get a MG Zeta Plus C1 soon? Do we not already have that? Zeta Plus C1? Among the different, there's a couple of different Zeta Plus variants. I guess is that different from what we have already? STXCII. Hey, what's going on over there on Twitch? Let's see. He's going wild as usual in the grocery hunt. Yeah. Sturgetti, about Brian. Yeah, Brian's design is looking very wild indeed. Wild and crazy of what I've seen of a couple of his social media posts about that. Let's see. But yeah, Zeta Plus. Oh, okay, sorry. You meant the Zeta Plus C1 2.0. So like a Zeta Plus C1 based off of the Zeta 2.0 kit. It's possible. Yeah. I don't know if they'll make that. I think it's one of those things where that kind of the groundwork is there, that they've fairly easily could make that, and it's just a wonder, like, why haven't they made it yet? And I don't know. I think it's very possible that someday they will eventually make that, but who knows if or when that will be. So now that hole is there, again, I think it's gonna be a little bit hard for you guys to see, but right there, and let's test this. Hopefully this will fit in there. I don't need to make that hole any bigger. Yeah, okay. So that fits through there like that, fine. And then it's meant to go down into the front of the foot where there's like no holes. So I think you have to drill that, or according to the manual, you just kind of just stick it there, I guess. But any normal person would realize you're gonna have to drill a hole there for that. So just pop a couple holes in here, and then this will make our lives a lot easier. You'd think. Like that. So if you guys saw my unboxing video for this kit, I mentioned how I thought the instructions look a lot more clear than the Cooster. That certainly is the case, but that doesn't mean they're that crystal clear, as we're already coming across just on like the very first part of the build, the feet. There's already kind of adjustments that can be made that aren't mentioned in the manual. So this is why I think it's useful to live stream build these kits, because this kind of thing, I could make it as just like a regular work in progress video or whatever, but it's probably just as easy to just show you guys live. So like that. instead of cutting 2 smaller pieces, I can now just have 1 longer piece that goes all the way around. So it stretches from one side through the hole and then around down to the other side. I'm just kind of checking how long I need to make this. Something like that. I want to make sure I leave enough of this. Oh. I can always cut it shorter later if I need it, but I'd rather have it be a little bit too long than not long enough and trying to stretch it. If I can just get it in the hole. Story of our lives, am I right, guys? There you go. Alright, so that's basically that for the foot. And I don't really need to make any other modifications at the moment. I do want to put a little bit more glue on that, just right there. Let's see, Vermilion Crimson said, just wanted to say thanks for being an awesome dude, and thanks for the coupon. I've used it plenty of times, which helps shipping cost out. Yeah, you're welcome. You're very welcome. There's gonna be a little bit of seam on that. I may end up trying to fill that gap a little bit later as well too, but it's a kind of mechanical part deep inside there. Probably don't need to worry too much about that. I think they just announced the Calamity Gundam will be the first in a new line called Seed Full Mechanics. Really? I better check that. That sounds interesting. YouTube tends to be slightly behind 1 second. Yeah. Yeah, Boom Cannon, that's exactly right. The chat delay is less. On Twitch, you got, it's basically like, what's the word? There's no delay, anyway. But on YouTube, there's a bit of a delay, yeah. Let's see, let me check Bandai's Twitter. Oh, here's a new image of the RG Mark 6. Ooh. That looks cool. Yeah, definitely will want to pick up that one. The Mark 8, the pink one, I think it like just came out, right? I'm skipping that just because I've kind of don't really like that design for one. Entry grade Kirby. That's fun. Kind of want to get that too for one of my kids to build. Let's see. Oh, a new Pokepla Quick Sleeping Eevee kit. That's fun. I guess I should just pull this up on my computer to show you guys, rather than showing you on my phone. But anyway, I'm just kind of just going through this for a moment. A new Ultraman Tiga kit with stuff on his legs. Tiga Sky type. So is this like this thing's on his legs that like allows him to fly or something? It's called Sky type. I don't know. What's the deal with those? Does look cool though. Love those Ultraman kits. They're a lot of fun to build, and the purple and silver color scheme looks cool. Oh, new pictures of the Death Scythe. Okay. Yesterday, actually, maybe this afternoon I'll make a new Gunpla news video, because actually yesterday I was supposed to make a new Gunpla news video, but there was not, or a Zaku news video, I guess I should say. But there wasn't very much news, so I just kind of didn't. I thought, well, there's not really news, I'll just wait till next week. But since we're getting a bunch of news, at least a bunch of new images of stuff today, I guess I'd better make a news video. HG Cybaster? Looks like this is a Premium Bandai thing. Is it? This thing? Cybaster. It's kind of interesting. Is that Premium Bandai? Looks like it. Uh, not seeing anything about the 100 scale Calamity Gundam though. You have a link for that, anyone? Oh, this looks cool. What's that? What is this? What's this thing? Someone tell me. I don't know what this is, but it looks really cool. What is that? Oh, Kyle said they released images for the Calamity. Why am I not seeing that on their Twitter account here? Got the box art for the Evangelion, or just another image for that. Evangelion Mark 8. Where's the Calamity images? I'm not seeing them here. RG Tallgeese 3? Is that the first time? No, I'm sure. Hang on here. Oh, titanium finish. RG Tallgeese 3 and RG Wing Gundam titanium finish. Alright, Calamity Gundam. Well, I'm not seeing any Calamity Gundam on there, but I'll check a little bit later. So, alright, I guess I'll make a new news video this afternoon then. I was planning on doing something else this afternoon, but better do that. Link in the Discord? Okay, let me check here. Ah, thank you. There are new pics. It looks great. Let's see. Yeah, I'm checking that out. It's loading. Taking a very long time to load here. In the meantime, while that's loading up, let me drill our other foot here. So these. That's as far as those plug in there on the feet. They're like sticking way out like that. Is that right, that those parts on the feet stick that far out? That seems not right. Whoa. What's wrong with that? Page was not loading right. We'd be picking up or reviewing the HGL Gaim kits. Yes. Not all of them, but yes. Oh, Lucas said push them harder. They're really tight. He's meant to go in there more. Maybe because of the polycap or something. Okay. Thank you, Lucas. Yeah, they are really tight to push in there. Why? Yeah, it's just because of the polycap. To exert some extreme pressure on that. There you go. Yeah. Still not quite in there all the way. There we go. Well, close enough for the time being. Yeah, polycap's kind of jacked up inside there. So, what to do about that? I think I'm gonna have to file that out later because it's already glued. There's not really much I can do about that at the moment, so we'll have to get a file in there later. At least for now, that's like that. He's like, oh boy, those new Calamity pictures are awesome. I want to see these, but the link you sent me, Sturgitty, is not working. It's not opening. Okay, now it is. Sorry. All right. So here we got. They are calling it full mechanics, aren't they? That's interesting. And I can't zoom in, but there's a pose. It's kneeling. Okay. Right. Lots of detail there. Very nice. It's got some nice joints there. It looks like. Yeah, it's like right on the verge of being a master grade. It's like all the detail, all the outer detail of a master grade, but the inner workings of like a very early master grade. But it looks good. I mean, so it's like, it seems so close to being a master grade. Like honestly, it looks comparable to the master grade Zaku Warrior, to be honest, based on the images there. It seems a little bit more simple, but not much. Alright, let's get some holes drilled in here so that we can move on to the legs, where we've got a lot more pieces to glue. I'm new about house that I'm new to model building. What kit should I start with? I mean, just start with whatever looks cool to you, really. Because I mean, there's nothing really too challenging to the whole model building process. I mean, even if you pick a kit that's maybe more challenging than others, it's only more challenging relatively. You know, in general, model building is like the basic steps anyway are pretty straightforward. So I mean, Gunpla in general is easier than other stuff. But if you really like the look of something like this, like Machinen Krieger, where it's a little bit more difficult, but if you like the look of it, I mean, just go for it. It's a little bit more of a learning curve maybe as a beginner modeler, but it's all useful skills that you're gonna develop over time anyway. So I mean, if you're starting off building Machinen Krieger kits, then you're developing those skills sooner than later. Nothing wrong with that. What do you think about the Supernova Zoids? Not really that interested, just because Zoids in general is not really that interesting for me. But that said, I mean, like if there was a cool one, maybe I'd be interested. But I mean, I do like the, what is it, the Harut Liger, I believe. That there's no Kotobukiya kit for that. There's the like a Zoids aggressive figure. There's no actual kit of that, right? Starlight Glimmer, hello. What's going on? Zoids is furry Gundam. Mothman said. That's one way of looking at it, I suppose. Furry Gundam. If you get to pilot one Gundam, which Gundam would it be? I'm just gonna say XS. I think that'd be a fun one. It's pretty big and massive. It has a big, massive smart gun, and you have the Alice system to help you as a non-new type. Will you ever review the Supernova Death Stinger? No, that massive Death Stinger. Basically, they're just taking like the Kotobukiya kit and just scaling it up. I mean, just in general, the size of it looks cool, but no, I'm just not interested in the Death Stinger kit. If I was really a fan of the Death Stinger design in general, I would just get the Kotobukiya HMM kit. I wouldn't really be that interested in having a gigantic version of that. I mean, it's cool if you like the design and you like big giant kits, then yeah, it does seem pretty cool. I'm thinking I can probably turn off the heater. It's getting warmish in here. Starlight Glimmer said, I love your YouTube videos. Thank you. I hope you like my Twitch videos as well too. Watching there on Twitch. So yeah, I don't know if I'll end up sticking with this rubber bit or not. Honestly, it's such a small part and probably pretty inconsequential. Just sticking with this rubber bit will probably be fine. Actually, I don't know if I'll switch it out for a spring or not. We'll see. It's still up for discussion at the moment. Do you also read Gundam manga and novels? No, not usually. Reading in general is something that I would like to make more time for. I just unfortunately don't. But if and when I do read, I don't. I usually read. I don't know. They're mostly nonfiction stuff, philosophy, kind of generally. But sometimes a little bits. Okay, so there's the feet. All done. Only took us an hour and some change to build the feet. Should give you a sense of just what's involved with a little bit more complicated building process with these. HMM kits are already huge. Can't imagine having a full line of those. Yeah, that's a good point, Ricky B. The HMM kits, oh man. The HMM kits are already big. I think I want to go get my file for that part right now, just because I don't want to mess with it later. I'm not sure if this file will be the right size or not. Hopefully this will fit in there. Yes. Yeah, just barely. See if this makes our lives a little bit easier. Yes. Probably to do a little bit more, but is helping a little bit, I think. I have to go at it a couple times here. Man, bad polycaps are kind of the downfall of many non-Bandai kit. Polycaps in general and Bandai kits are usually fine. You don't really have much issue with them. It's only on the non-Bandai kits that polycaps can be trouble. Much better. This is as well too, not that big of a deal, because honestly, these parts, I mean, if the polycap was really giving me that much grief, I could just cut the peg off and just glue these parts straight on. Wouldn't be that big of a thing. And honestly, I'm tempted to do that right now because it'd be so much easier than doing this. But just for the sake of being able to remove these parts, and I'm not worried about being able to remove them for painting even, I'm just worried about just removing them for doing some more sanding on them later. So, very tempted to just cut off the pegs and just glue them on there, but at least for now, that's better. And the other one I'll do later anyway. So there's the feet. Let's move on to the legs. And we need runner N. Clear out some of this stuff. Gonna switch gears again here. Even though B Club doesn't exist anymore, what's your opinion of B Club? I mean, B Club's cool, I guess. It was never anything that I was that interested in, like, for someone like, it was around earlier and like I was aware of it, and like being in Japan, I would see B Club kits around at like secondhand stores, Ma.K, stuff like that. But I was never that interested in them because they're quite expensive, and like most of the B Club stuff that they made, there was no kits of them like at the time, but then like later on there's kits. Like, I don't know if this is one that exists. Well, the Nightingale, for example, there's now an RE100 and now the HD Nightingale coming out. So the B Club Nightingale, obviously the design is a little bit different. If you prefer the design of that, then it's there to build, but unless you really want to have that particular design of the Nightingale, it's so much easier and easier to get your hands on just the regular plastic kit now. Much cheaper. I'm sure the resin kit, the Resin B Club original kit of that is surely expensive. So, I mean, that seems to be the case with pretty much everything B Club. I'm sure there's some B Club kits that there is no plastic kit of that still yet, but for the most part, most of that stuff, I imagine there's probably plastic kit versions of them, so not as much a reason to seek out the resin version. Let's see, N27, N10, 25. Let's see, 25. Here, 27. Here. Five, 27, 10. Fortunately, a lot of the parts we need for this leg are all located on the same runner. That's convenient. What else? 25, 27. That's kind of it for this step. What's that? I'll do just kind of one step at a time, but I am just tempted to also cut out this part here as well. So N4. These are the thigh parts. and 4 and 5. And that's kind of all from the end runner. So that's for one leg anyway. Let's see. Any opinion about the upcoming Hathaway Flash? Lin Tang. Not really. I mean, it looks cool. I watched the trailer. It really reminds me a lot of Gundam Unicorn, obviously, because it's the same music producer, and the animation style is practically the same as well too. So, just seems like a part 2 of Gundam Unicorn almost in a way, which I'm totally cool with. I love Unicorn, so fine with that. But otherwise, I mean, anymore these days, I mean, obviously the Gundam animation was something that I was more interested in at a time, but these days, I mean, I'm just enjoying the kits, to be honest. The animation is just not a big a deal for me anymore. If we get cool kits, then that's all I really care about. It says not to cement that part, but don't tell me my business. Oh, there's one more part. In 15, this one other part that I forgot from the end runner. So there's that. Let me grab that off of here too. Got the manual over here trying to tell me not to glue this part. So for the lower leg, that's just all N. The thigh, we've got some more rubber parts. W7. That one. And again, with these rubber parts, these ones I'm much more leaning towards replacing them with spring parts later probably, but we'll see. And runner A. My runner's kind of a mess over here. A11. Right there, and 12 for that side. And runner V for a couple of teeny tiny little pieces. Try to get this to being back to somewhat organized over here. Runner V, yes, as I expected, was our runner of these teeny tiny little parts. So oh no, and they're super tiny. Okay, well yeah, we'll put those on later. Let's do some more of this building here first. Have you ever watched G Savior? No, I tried watching it once and was like, nah. Any thoughts on Godzilla versus King Kong? I mean, I guess spoiler alert. Everyone's kind of theorizing that Godzilla shown in the trailer fighting Kong is actually Mecha Godzilla. I don't know if that's a spoiler or not, because it's not confirmed, so I guess it could be wrong, but people are kind of guessing that based on like little things you can see like in the background of the trailer, and then like some of like the toy announcements. There's been some toy announcements or something like that leaked where that showed Mecha Godzilla toys, so people are kind of figuring. I love when that happens. That always happens like with Star Wars movies. Before Star Wars movies comes out, people are like making predictions based on stuff going on with the toys and things. It's very interesting for me. I just wouldn't think to do that, but yeah. More undergating on here. Again, not really sure why. especially on these where I need to glue the seam. Not excited about undergating because undergate's part's a little bit harder to deal with. I'm just going to save myself a little bit of time. Clip these off this way. Wait, wait, wait. That's much easier. All right. Do you know any good place offhand you would recommend to get some Megami device resin conversions? eBay? I think it depends. Like if you want like the official Moscato ones, the ones that Moscato makes, I think you order from him directly when he makes those. I think there's other places that sell like official Moscato ones as well too, I think. Otherwise, I mean, like on eBay, probably what you'd be getting though on eBay is recasts and stuff. So it just depends if you want to recast or not. I don't know about that stuff entirely. Some of the stuff that you would find depends on what exactly you're looking for. Some of the stuff that you would find would be like recasts of stuff, like for example, made by Moscato, or other stuff could be like other original kits too. I don't know. It just depends on the kit you're looking for. But I've seen some cool ones on eBay as well too, like that I've thought about getting, like just for like hair parts, like resin conversion parts for like different hairstyles basically. That looked pretty cool. I come across on eBay. That Godzilla was too small. Mechagodzilla would probably be the final opponent for King Kong and the Chibi Godzilla tag team. I don't know. Anyway, that's yeah. Is Mechagodzilla that much larger than Godzilla? I didn't know that. Yeah, I'm sure I've just only seen the old movies, and as far as I can remember, he wasn't like that much larger, but I could be wrong. How bad has shipping been lately with any orders you bought with anyone? I had 5 packages from the States. Take over 8 weeks to get. I haven't bought anything really from the States, so haven't had to deal with that. I've sent stuff to the States though, and currently like I can't send any just like small packages, like a little like envelope or something like that, for example. Just can't send that at all. For packages though, like the only option is EMS, which is more expensive. So sending stuff has been kind of a bitch because it costs a lot these days. So like for example, I had a bunch of the giveaway prizes from the one day build live stream event that I did not too long ago. And I think I mentioned in a previous live stream that like to send out all of those prizes, and then I had some other prizes from the Mechatro contest. Some t-shirts from that I was sending out to people as well too, in small boxes. So I had a handful of boxes. I had like, how many? 14 packages I sent out, and it was like $600 to send out 14 packages. So yeah, that sucked. That was not fun. But it's like, I hate that, because like when you're at the post office and like they tell you how much it's gonna cost, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna say? Like, oh, never mind, I'm not gonna send it. Like you went there to send your shit, and like if there's only one way to send it, you don't really have a choice. Just keep it and then just like send it later. So a couple of the packages I was not able to send at all because the countries I was sending them to just are not accepting any mail at all at the moment from here, I guess. So like a couple of the packages I couldn't send, but it's probably for the best, because hopefully later when I am able to send them, I'll be able to send them for a cheaper way. Would be ideal. We'll have to see. Who knows if and when that'll be, though. That's the problem. So I've got some other stuff that I want to sell and or give away, but I just am hesitant to do it right now because shipping costs so damn much. Now, if it's stuff that I'm selling, then I would just, you know, I would charge whoever's buying the stuff, I would charge them for the shipping as well too, but I feel bad because the shipping's quite expensive. It's like, for example, shipping a box, if it's just like a standard kind of bigger size MG box, like an MG kit in there, would cost like $40, something like that to send. So I mean, depending on the kit, that's like almost the same price, if not more than the kit sometimes. So it's a little bit outrageous. Dragon Boy, what's going on? I was able to order from Ma.K for a long time because of the pandemic. I don't know if they're back up and running. Yeah, Brian. It was going on, Brian. We were just talking about your Grocer Hund project a little bit earlier, Brian. I don't think you were here in the chat at the time, but I was talking about that. You are live streaming the build process on that, aren't you, Brian? I was telling people to go check out your live stream builds for that if they wanted to see more live stream Machinen Krieger stuff. It's not. I mean, I don't know if it would necessarily qualify as like a Machinen Krieger live stream build so much as just like a Machinen Krieger kit being used for a bunch of custom work live stream build, basically. But yeah, Grocer Hunt. More or less live streaming my process Tuesdays and Thursdays. There you go. Brian said check out Brian's streaming on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I mean other days as well too, because Brian, you also have your streaming Wednesdays, right? It's the Kodokai. I'm sorry, you invited me on, Brian, and I keep, every time I see you post about the new episode or something, I always think, damn, Brian invited me on. I want to go on. It's just always like the timing is not right for me. So I'll make time. I'll plan to not have anything else going on, so that I can join that. What? They're saying Julio streams Wednesdays. So you're saying you don't stream on Wednesdays anymore because Julio streams on those days? So you don't want to like cross the streams, as it were? Yes, Brian. Anyway, yes, I do want to join you one of these days. Hopefully sooner than later. I'm sorry that, you know, I always think of it in like an inopportune time. So it's like never on my mind at the right time, and then when I do think of it, it's like at the time when I can't make it work. Let's see. Sherry said, "Are Machinen Krieger snap built, or do you need to glue pieces together?" For the most part, they're kind of snap built, but you definitely need glue. There are some parts that will definitely need glue, and you're probably better off just kind of gluing pretty much everything. So yeah, you definitely need some glue. That said, I mean, don't be intimidated by it. They're not that difficult. Just put it together. Apoluna said on Twitch, would you recommend any toolkit for Gunpla for someone brand new? Sorry for the repeat. Yeah, check out the video that I did recently on the new USA Gundam Store tools. There's a tool set that's really good for beginners. It has a knife, nippers, what else was in there? Tweezers, part separator, and sandpaper, like sanding sticks that you can make. So kind of everything that you need to start off. So that would be a good set. I think it's $27.99 off the top of my head if I remember correctly. you know, minus the 10% off if you use my coupon code. So like $25 is not bad. I mean, for beginners, I think it's, in all honesty, I think it's a hard sell for beginners, because if you pitch them $25 for a tool set, they're thinking like, I can buy another high grade kit for that, or even like a cheap master grade for $25. They're hesitant to spend $25 on tools when you could very easily buy another kit with that. So that's the tricky part of that. But I would recommend those tools. They're good, yeah, and they're definitely gonna. I mean, $25 on a kit is something you build once, and you can work on it for a while, but then it's kind of done. But $25 on tools is something that you will use continuously for years, on many kits. So it's $25 spread out over a lot longer period of time use. Let's see. Lin Tang asks, have you ever tried Nekobuso kits? I remember that you have a cat back then. Yes, I have 2 cats. Nekobuso... Did I? Didn't I do a Nekobuso review? I think I got sent... When they first came out, I think I got sent a set of those. And I did do a simple review. On like one of the first Nekobuso sets, if I remember correctly. But it's been a while. I'm not really into that. I don't really like that stuff that much. It's not really for me. Let's see. So happy that my shoulder is mostly healed, so I've been getting back to hobby projects. That's good, Shuri. Good to hear. I recently got their nippers with your code. Used them on Sarah. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so all our pieces here are ready to start putting together for the leg. Let's get to it. And we need a couple of holes here. So this is something why you really have to pay attention to the manual, because in the manual it says you need a couple of holes over here. And says, and like there's this little part, it's kind of a little T-shaped part that goes in the front. It says not to glue, because it's a little part here and it can move up and down along the track here. So I probably will glue this later, but for the time being it says not to glue that, so that you're able to move that part up and down. But the trick is you have to glue everything else around there, so it's going to be really hard to not get glue there where there's not supposed to be glue. But also, anyway, you need to drill holes in here, and it says 1.2 millimeters. I'm sure I have a 1.2 millimeter drill bit over there, but I kind of can't really be bothered to go get it. So anyway, yeah, this part has no holes on it, so you need to make a hole, but there's holes on the back. It's marked where you need to drill, so that's very convenient. So just make sure you do that. And on this correct side, there's holes on both sides. You only need holes on the one side. So don't put them on both, or you'll end up having to then fill the holes on the other side later. Or just leave them, I guess, if you wanted to. Wouldn't be that big of a deal. And hopefully just using a 1 millimeter drill bit here will be fine. It says 1.2 in the manual, but it's so close. I think we can probably make it fit. Is it necessary to gloss coat before panel lining? Manolo, not necessarily. It just depends on the colors you're using, or the paints you're using. If the paint that you're using is a glossy paint, then you don't really necessarily need to gloss coat before doing your panel lining. The point is that it's better and easier to do your panel lining on a glossy surface. So as long as it's glossy, then you'll have an easier time. So if your paint is glossy, then that kind of saves you a step. But if your paint is semi-gloss or a matte finish type paint, then yeah, probably would be a good idea to do some gloss coat before you do your panel lining. The important thing is to just realize kind of the reason why you need stuff like that, and then you can make the decision as to whether you actually need to do it or not. So just understanding the reason of why having that glossy surface is important, then you can justify that. Sometimes you might not want a really glossy surface if you're doing weathering and stuff. Sometimes the weathering things that you're working with sometimes work better if you don't have a really glossy surface. I got a little something stuck in my finger there. Bullet holes, exactly. Have you ever tried Mr. Hobby acrylic or aqueous paints? Yes, with not good results because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know how to use them. So I tried them once and had a bad time, and so I've never tried them again. But I will admit that I didn't use them correctly. So I've just never had any reason to go back and use them again because I've just been using lacquers ever since. So there just hasn't been any reason for me to try them again. But just for the sake of having a proper experience with them, I probably should. I kind of messed up and drilled all the holes out. Way to go, Brian. So, see, there you go. Gotta pay attention, Brian. Now, when I was building which one was that? The Prowler? I made the mistake of not drilling the holes because I wasn't paying attention to the manual carefully. So then I had to... Lincoln gave me some good advice of what you can do, and it probably wouldn't work very well with this because it's black plastic, but with the Prowler it's white plastic, so it's easy to do. Because after I'd already glued the parts together, and you have to drill the hole out from the inside, so it was impossible to do that without ripping the pieces apart again. So you can just hold it up to the light and you can see where the drill holes are. So I just held it up and you can mark it with a pen and then just drill them in there. So it worked out. But yeah, I've made the inverse mistake before. So I'm just testing to see if this will fit with our 1mm holes here. If I really need to go get a... I could use the 1.5 drill, and then that will be too big. But oh, there's also a little tiny gate in there that I missed as well too. That's going to be blocking it. It's very annoying gate placement here on this. This is another case of, rather than like spending time, if I mean I have a 1.2 drill bit over there, I'm sure, but rather than spending time going to get that or like trying to make it work without doing that, could very easily just cut the pegs and just glue this part on there just directly and not worrying about any holes at all. Would probably be just as easy. But that's gonna work for us for now, and this piece is gonna go on there because, like I said, I'm gonna disassemble some stuff later to do some more sanding on them, but so that will be fine for now, like that. Probably, I'm sure when I go to take that part off later, it's gonna break those pegs anyway, so I'll probably end up just gluing it on anyway. I say it's not a mistake if you can correct it. Yep, there you go, Brian. It's a good philosophy. What's that? Okay, polycaps. That's what that is. I couldn't see that. K and L. K. On in this week's edition of What I've Been Watching, Recently, one channel that I've gotten back to watching that I used to watch and I just kind of didn't never really watch for a long time, but I've recently kind of rediscovered the channel. I've been watching a lot of the videos again. Is Joe Goes. I'm sure some of you guys are familiar with the channel, but funny stuff. Yeah, I used to watch it and kind of just didn't for a long time. One of those things where it just kind of disappears. I think he stopped making videos for one. And then, you know, just YouTube algorithm. If you don't watch for a while, then it just goes away. But, yeah, funny stuff. That Joe Goes. Let's see. Alexis, finally finished my HGC Phoenix. That's nice. Which version of the Phoenix, we should say. Yeah, definitely gonna want to sand that. What kit do you think Bandai is more obsessed with, Unicorn or Barbatos? Definitely the Unicorn. I mean, they made a handful. I mean, they make a fair amount of Barbatos kits, but not anywhere near like the Unicorn, I wouldn't think. I feel like some builders get hung up on making mistakes or not making mistakes, and hold them back from experiencing. I try to urge builders to make the errors and learn how to correct them. Yeah, totally, Brian. Yep. Learning how to fix stuff that breaks or when you do stuff wrong, that's all invaluable experience for the modeling process, so totally. Yes, exactly. They made a 1-to-1 Unicorn. Is exactly right. If there's any other proof you need, it's right there. That Bandai loves the Unicorn. To make a 1-to-1 scale version of that. I'm just sanding away this mold line on this part before it's locked into the knee, because once I remove the seam line, this piece will be stuck in there. So I just want to get rid of the mold line ahead of time, so I don't have to try to get rid of that later on. And also want to sand these parts a little bit too as well here. So like I said, most of the sanding I'll come back and do later, but kind of some stuff is easier to do sooner than later. If you have to come back and try to do it later, it's going to be a little bit more difficult to get to. So. For like a mold line removal on some certain areas, it's a little easier to sand before stuff's glued together. So with that, we can go ahead and glue these parts together. I said I'll try to avoid getting glue on this little piece here that's not supposed to be glued. But if it is, we'll make do. And I want to make sure this is gonna fit flush first, so give it a good test. Okay, yes, looks like it's gonna fit flush. So pop that apart again and pop in some glue. Like that. Zach McGee, what is going on? How's the temp in Korea? It's cold today, man. It was warm. It's really like unusually warm a couple days, and then it's unusually cold a couple days. Deshevster, what's going on? If the RE100 line is not dead, what kit would you like to see from it? I would love a Palace Athene. Palace Athene would be cool. Were you the one talking about the Palace Athene in the Jabman's live stream the other day? Last night, I skimmed through Jabman's live stream. Well, not skimmed through. I watched the whole thing, but I watched it at 1.5 speed because I just didn't want to listen to that for an hour. But I wanted to listen to it, but just it was like an hour long. So in order to save myself some time, I watched it at 1.5 speed. But yeah, someone was talking to him about wanting a RE100 Palace Athene, I remember. Anyway, yeah, Palace Athene would be cool. Definitely, it's a cool design. I would love like a Nero. I think that would be fitting with them doing the different Sentinel kits with the Mark V coming out and the other Master Grades, the Deep Striker, the XS 1.5 kits coming out not too long ago. I think doing an RE100 Nero would go really well with that. They don't necessarily need to make that as a Master Grade, with it being a grunt suit from a pretty obscure, less well-known side story, right? So yeah, the trick will be William Potter not getting any glue in the moving parts of this. But fingers crossed, we'll be okay. Bro, please, Nero, yes. The Chefster agrees with me. Ewok Nero, I mean, Ewok Nero would be a dream. I mean, that would be amazing. It'd be cool if they did an RE100 Nero and then they did the Ewok Nero as like a P-Bandai kit. I always have to kind of like parse my words, saying that it would be cool if something was made as a P-Bandai kit, because nobody likes that. But I mean, obviously they're not going to make that as just a standard kit. And I mean, I would be so jazzed on just having the kit. So I mean, there's no way that they make it as a regular kit, so it would surely be P-Bandai. So I would just be so excited to have it. Are you going to do some more Trash Treasure? Yes, of course. You mean like after the GPO2? Like other future series? Yes, definitely. Anyway, the answer is the same. Yes, of course. I will be doing more, of course, on the GPO2 because obviously it's not done yet. And then I will be doing more future series in the future. Probably not here though. It'd be probably next year after moving to America. I'll do the GPO2 and then I probably won't do any other Trash to Treasure series before moving. Can't wait for a review of this kit. Really loving Machinen Krieger right now. Kavan says, I probably won't do like an actual review of it. I'll just review it once it's fully painted and everything. I'll show you guys how it turns out. But also, would you want to see the rest of the 72 Gundam frames from the old version of Barbatos? No, not really, Alexis, to be honest, no. I mean, like, I'm fine with them making some more making some more Iron Blooded Orphans kits, but I don't need 72 of them by any means. No, thank you. Congrats on getting your name right. Kavan. I mean, it seems pretty simple. I don't know. Well, I guess I'll pat myself on the back. Pretty bad at pronouncing names, but glad to hear that I got that one pretty close anyway. And then this piece goes on to here, but let's see. Oops. Yeah. I'm not gonna glue this on just yet. I will later. This is the piece that's meant to move up and down on the front there. So depending on how you have the foot posed, you can move this part up and down a little bit. That's cool. So like this will be on here like that. Like that. You'd be surprised? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, with my name as well too. Zach is easy enough, but my last name Rensberger, a little bit tricky one for a lot of people. It's always people either can't pronounce it or they make a joke out of it, which like obviously I've been hearing since I was a little kid, but then like it still happens when people like hear my name like Rensburger sounds like hamburger. Like, yeah, I haven't heard that before. Wow, it's a pretty interesting observation there. Pretty amazing. It's like people in Germany don't exist or something. It's weird. It's a German last name, obviously. Anyway, don't get too hung up on that. People are just silly. Long last name that people have just turned yeah. Long. Shout out to my long last name bros. It's a hard life having a long last name. Why couldn't I just be Zach Smith? No, but I'm the last in my family. Well, I guess now my son is the last, but the last with our family name. Unless, actually, yeah. So I've got to carry on the family name. So it's very important to have a son. So that one's there like that. That one goes there and then like that. Oh, actually I want to, before I put that in there, I wanted to actually cut those pegs a little bit. Just to make sure that we get a good fit. When you have pieces like this is just something that I've found kind of helpful, not always necessary, and probably in this one, probably is not necessary at all. But like when you have pieces like this with pegs that go between parts that you're gonna glue together, sometimes it's the length of the pegs that will keep the parts from being super flush. If they're like half a millimeter too long, it'll keep your seam line gluing from being completely flush. So just clip just a little tiny bit off the end of those pegs, just to make sure there's nothing inhibiting your pieces from coming together as tightly as possible. Yes, Smitty Werben Jägerman Jensen was number one. We can all agree on that. So I mean, sometimes having a long last name works out. Alright, so this one goes in here. Oh, before that, let's not forget to drill. It says to drill holes here on this side. But only that side, right? Yes, okay. It says be careful. Okay. Only this side we needed to drill holes. Let's be careful. Are you planning to buy the Gundam Gremory? Yes, probably, Brent, yeah. I enjoyed the last couple HDIBO kits, the Marcosius and the Hajiraboshi. As you guys may have seen, I started doing some custom work on the Marcosius that I've still not yet finished. It's still kind of just sitting there waiting to be finished, unfortunately. But yeah, and the Hajiraboshi also I enjoyed quite a bit. Not done any extra work or anything on that, but it is a cool kit. So yeah, the Gremory, I'll definitely check it out as well too. My first live build, sick. Michael, welcome. Sorry that your first live build is not something more exciting. It's a pretty slow process on these particular kits like this, but hopefully you're able to tune in again next time when we're building a Gundam kit or something more exciting. And the next live stream build will actually be the Arachne Attack Girl kit. It's the one you guys voted on. Surprisingly, I was not expecting that one to win the poll for which of the Attack Girls kits you guys wanted to see live stream build, but it won quite a good margin as well too. So I built this. The circuit was not included with the poll because it's the most recent one, so I just built that one up to review it first. That's already built, and I need to record the review later this week. But yes, after the circuit, then will be the Arachne kit, which will live build in between. So this one, once I glue in this rubber part here for the hose, it's gonna be more tricky to get out, but I think I'm just gonna be fine with that. That's fine. If I do want to change it out for just a regular spring part later, it's fine. I'll have to get a little bit creative with the removal of that, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So gotta glue what you gotta glue. And oh, we are supposed to drill the other side as well. Damn. Are we? No. Okay. No. I was looking at the menu wrong. Okay. We'll need to glue the one side. Not both. Make sure we get plenty of glue in there. Yeah. Give that a good squeeze. Clamp that actually. Like this. That double clamp. It's the problem, yeah. The problem sometimes with the clamping these parts, because like it's a curved part, so like if you put the clamp on like the top of the curve, the glue on the sides will be like kind of bent out because of the pressure of the clamp is putting the pressure on like the top of the curve, so it's like flattening the curved part. Anyway, it's kind of hard to explain, but sometimes using clamps on these parts doesn't really work. Because it's actually, the idea is for it to press the seam firmly together, but sometimes it pushes so hard that, like, if you have, okay, imagine this is the part, right? And here's where my fingers and my thumbs touch like that, but when the clamp is pressing on like this side, on like the sides, so it's pushing them out like that, and it's kind of pressing them apart at the ends. It's hard to explain, but you guys get what I mean. Or if not, that's fine as well too. Whatever. It's not always working ideally when using clamps. This part just fits onto there like that, easy enough. And so yeah, there's a couple of little bits we need to glue on here, but I'm gonna glue those on later. After I can sand this part some more. We need to glue a couple of these tiny little bolt details on here, right there. But I want to sand this more first, so I'll do that later. And so actually, just to make sure that I don't forget to do that, I'm going to highlight that in the manual. Just happen to have a highlighter here on hand. I don't really know why that's there, but I had that there, so why not use that? So that we don't forget. Are there notable Gundam places in Korea like in Japan? Example, cafe, Gundam statues, museums. Museums, cafes, not that I know of. There might be a kind of cafe or something in Seoul, but not that I know of. There's Gundam bases though, and actually, interestingly, Gundam Base, as the name of the store, Gundam Base was a thing here in Korea long before they changed the name at the one in Tokyo. The one in Tokyo where the 1-to-1 scale unicorn is Gundam based Tokyo now, but it was Gundam Front Tokyo before. In there, that was Gundam Front Tokyo, and here in Korea we have now I think there's probably like 8 of them throughout the country, Gundam bases, but I think maybe earlier there was 4 or 5 something. So we had a chain of Gundam bases here in Korea before they changed the name of the one there in Tokyo from Gundam Front to Gundam Base. So I think it's good. It's better that they're just all Gundam Base. I think it's better than Gundam Front's Tokyo. The point was because it's on the waterfront. So I guess that was the thing with that, which kind of made sense. But I think just using the universal Gundam Base for all the stores just works better because you don't have the Tokyo one being something different. Because you have like those Gundam Front Tokyo items being sold at Gundam bases. Yeah, it's a little bit weird. Yeah, the clamps morph the plastic. Yeah, kind of. It just not really morph, just because bend the plastic in an inopportune way. Yeah, you can put 2 clamps. I was trying that, putting 2 clamps to put pressure on both sides, but I think it'll be alright. I don't need it. Just don't bother. So that is our leg. Always, every time I build these kits, I'm always surprised that they're smaller than what I was expecting. So there's one leg right there. So this kit, not gonna be that big. The Kuster, I guess I should say, was fairly good sized. This one I think is, it's not gonna be that large. And this is my first time ever building one of these, one of the variants of the Grosser Hund. But of course I've seen them around, like in displays at stores and stuff like that, so it's not like I've never seen one. I've just never really made the connection of the size of them until actually building it. And I guess the leg is longer. There is one more section of the leg that I've not built yet, so I should say there's another section of the leg, but still not that big. Where was I? I lost my place. I folded one page backwards, and see what happens? You fold one page backwards the wrong way, and you totally lose your place. Here we go. It's a lot bigger than you're thinking. I'm sure it'll get bigger as we go along, but still, just based on the size of the leg, it seems like not as big. Standing up Luna Diver Stingray at the moment. Kavan, I really want to build a Luna Diver, and there's the new one just came out, right? Let me check. If I remember correctly, the new version of that with the included patch just came out. And so that's what I wanted to build after this. As far as like Machinen Krieger stuff goes, obviously I'm building other stuff, other Bandai stuff and other things in between, but like for the secession, of Machinen Krieger projects that I'm working on, I want to build that one after this. The Chefster, I saw that kind of like futuristic Mad Max looking car that you shared in the Discord. I had seen that when that first came up on HLJ. It looks pretty wild. Yeah, it's like a cyberpunk Mad Max car. There's a few other different ones in that line. Yeah. Here's a picture of the legs Brian shared. That's gonna be kind of hard for you guys to see. It's too bright, but it's looking cool, Brian. I'm liking it. I like the addition of the toes and extending the legs and everything is cool. It's looking pretty wild based on the photos I've seen you've been sharing of that. Hey, those clamps are a bit mega. Yes, Shuri, that's also true. These clamps are a bit large. So something not quite so big and powerful maybe will be better. Some smaller ones are probably more ideal for some small little parts. You don't need anything quite that big, but these I've found have also been quite useful for working on a resin, like a GK figure. I was working on what's her name? Tomoe something Sailor Saturn, but like her real name, Tomoe something. A resin GK kit of her that I'm working on, and like one of the parts, there's like no good way to clamp it with my regular painting alligator clips. They're too weak. It's like 1/6 scale, so it's kind of big. So like the head, I was just holding it with one of these, was much easier while painting it and everything. Are the instructions in English and German? There's no German in the instructions aside from the name. It's just all in Japanese. There's a little bit of English though. I mean, it's going to be hard for me to show you guys on camera, but there is actually a fair amount of English, like where it says, be careful, do not cement, and open hole. Where it says open hole, that means you need to drill a hole. Just to translate that for you guys. But yeah, there is English in there actually. A fair amount, you know, like enough that you don't need any Japanese, or you don't need to translate anything for that. So yeah, actually the manual is pretty good. Like I said, there's still like probably going to be some hacks along the way that you need to make, alterations, modifications to stuff, I should say, to be clear, just to kind of make your life easier. But oh, Brian said it needed those toes for the weight. For it to be able to stand up, it needed some more feet, eh? Some toes. There you go. Okay, hang on. Sorry, I'm checking about that new Luna Diver kit. I forget offhand, so I just want to see about that. I've got it over here, and got that coming soon, or it's already in the mail. I got a package that I thought would have arrived on Saturday, and then it didn't come yesterday either, so I'm a bit worried. If it doesn't come today, I'm very worried about the status of that package, but hopefully it'll be here later today. I noticed that, and I know it's got the RG Zeong in there, and I think it's got a couple other kits in there, I believe, too. I don't remember if one is that new Machinen Krieger Luna Diver kit or not, so I want to check. It's got the new the one is a Megami Device kit too, if I remember correctly. A reissue of the Megami Device, the first Megami Device kit. I forget the soldier sniper one. Dianjo, thank you again once again for the super chat there. I noticed my local Plamo store has the HD Dom Troppin in stock, but for $1 more, I could get myself a HD Zogok. Any thoughts? I don't really like the Zogok. It's kind of silly. So I would go for the Dom Troppin. The Zogok is a newer kit, so it'd be a nicer one probably in general, but the Dom Troppin, especially if it's the sandy brown type, the one that I recently reviewed, there's so much weapons and stuff in the box. I think it's a good value. The Zogok has a couple cool accessories, but yeah, I don't know. It's not for me. Yep. Okay. I'm just checking now the new Luna Diver Stingray kit, Moon Snowman version, is not in the mail to me yet, but I will be getting that in the future. That'll be the next Machinen Krieger project to work on after this, and that'll probably be the last one that I'll work on before moving, because it'll be a big project. I've seen the Stingray is a pretty big kit. I'm not sure if that comes also with, let's see, it does not include the SG figures. Just trying to see, because other versions of the Luna Diver include, like the original version, I think includes two little, what are they? Fireballs, I want to say. Is that right? Fireballs or SAFS suits are included with that. They're in 1/35 scale, are included together with the Stingray. But I think this new version does not include the extra SAFS suits in there. It's just the Luna Diver. And the patch, of course. That's kind of like the whole thing for the reissue. It's got the embroidered snowman moon patch. So I gotta stick that somewhere on something. Stick it on my backpack or something? I don't know. I don't have like a... Oh, I guess I do have a jacket I could put a patch on. I have a Converge jacket. You guys know I'm a big Converge fan. I have this really awesome I'll show you, just in case any of you are watching who are also Converge fans. I got this on a whim, and actually it was a Christmas present from my mother-in-law. And normally, like, buying like a jacket from like a band's merch store, I would be a little bit hesitant of, and like, is the quality really going to be that good? It's kind of like just for having band merch and not really necessarily good quality. But this one is actually really nice quality. So anyway, it's got the Converge logo on like the front chest, and then on the back it's got the Jane Doe on there, on the back of the jacket. So it's a pretty dope jacket. Wait. And quite warm as well too. It's quite thick. Not like thick, but dense. It's cool. Yeah, it has a Fireball and Prowler SG and O release. This one doesn't. Yeah. So yes, that's what it's looking like. So anyway, yes, that is a very dope jacket. I agree. Yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised at how good the quality was of that jacket when I got it. I'm like, hey, this is actually pretty sweet. Bonda said, I'm about to finish off Gundam Seed for the first time. Should I be nervous going to Destiny? I mean, I don't know. I think, people hate on Destiny. I don't know if it was really that bad, to be honest. I watched it, and I wouldn't say that I loved it, but I mean, I watched it, and I don't remember finishing the series thinking like, I hated that. It was awful. So, I don't know. If you didn't hate Seed, then you'll probably be fine watching Destiny. You maybe won't like it as much as you liked the first series, but I think people exaggerate a little bit as to exactly how bad it is. There are a lot worse things out there. Oh, Corey said Seed is his favorite. So there you go. See, if it can be someone's favorite, then it can't be that bad. Well, that said, he's talking about Seed anyway, not Seed Destiny. Seed Destiny is, people agree. I think people have mixed opinions about Seed, but Seed Destiny is, I think, a little bit more universally agreed to be not good. Corey says Seed Destiny is good too. Well, there you go. See, he likes both. Some people do. Edward, yes, I remember you. I remember everyone equally. Has plenty of cool designs, that's for sure. Disruptor, yeah, that's definitely something that, people kind of have disagreements on how much they like Seed and Seed Destiny, but at least for, maybe a little bit less so with Destiny, but at least for just first season Seed, most people agree that there's some cool mobile suit designs, at least. Whether they like the story or the characters or something like that is more up for debate, but yeah, definitely there's some cool mobile suit designs. And some great kits as master grades. Unfortunately, high grades, not so much. Real grades, kind of a mixed bag. But master grade kits, Seed master grade kits are overall very good. Well, maybe just a couple of the early ones were kind of a little bit less impressive, but Watching Seed for the second time now. Yeah, Seed as well. I mean, I've only watched it once ever, a long time ago. Watched Seed Destiny. I've never watched it again. So I don't know, maybe someday we'll watch it again. I remember it had its moments. I distinctly remember there was moments where I liked the series and didn't like the series. There were certain parts that I liked and I didn't like. I didn't really ever like Lacus at all. And I don't know, yeah, just a lot of the characters. I don't want to get too much into it, but they're all, I don't know. None of them are really very relatable characters at all. I mean, it's some future sci-fi universe with giant robots and stuff. Obviously not going to be very relatable, but still, on just like a human level, I guess. I don't know. They all seemed weird. The HGs from Stargazer line are not too bad. Yes, that's true. That's a good point. Not bad. Not as bad as some of the other HGs in the line, but yes. Have you ever thought about doing a Tulgis Flugel kit bash? Yeah, I mean, just kind of like thought about it a little bit. I'm sure as much as everyone else has, because it's a fairly easy kit bash thing probably to do. Wouldn't be too difficult, and you would get some really cool results. So that's tempting, of course. Yeah. Don't think it's anything I would necessarily ever do unless like I got back into doing commission work and someone commissioned it, then yes, I would maybe take that project. But outside of that, I don't really see myself ever making one. It's a cool thing, but I have so many other things that I think I would enjoy more, so I just would never prioritize actually making it for myself. But who is that? Fuck. This tiny little part with some very annoyingly placed gates. Me poking my finger twice trying to get rid of these motherfuckers. Tim. Not Child of Mecha Tim. Tim A. I don't know, for privacy, I don't know if he wants me to say his name, but different Tim. Capsule Co. on Twitter. What's his Twitter handle? He was making a Tulgis Flugel. I'm not sure if he finished yet or not. I think it was almost done, but he was making one. Capsule Toy Co. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's not done yet. Yeah. Here you go. Oh, okay. Well, his last name's there. Tim Alexiel, yeah. So, just Capsule Toy Co. He's making a Tulgis Flugel, but doing a lot more like to make it actually as accurate as possible. So, like I said, it'd be an easy mod in that, like, yeah, it's kind of like basically just strap the Wing Zero custom backpack onto the Tulgis. But yeah, if you do want to make it super actually accurate, I guess there's a little bit more involved with it, and that's actually what he's doing with this. When he makes his models, like he really, especially like stuff from Gundam Wing, he's a big Gundam Wing fan, and he really tries to make them like super accurate, which is cool. It's admirable. So check out some of his work, y'all. Just ordered the HG Gelgo Jaeger. Is it a good kit? Well, yeah, I just did my review of it, and you can. Oh, you guys haven't seen the review of it yet, have you? Yeah, I forgot. The review is scheduled to be posted later today. So yeah, that's already uploaded, but on a scheduled upload. So that'll be uploaded or available for you guys to watch in less than 3 hours. Probably gonna wrap up this stream here once we get these leg parts done. Wrap up this stream for today. But yeah, the Go Jaeger review is scheduled to be live at 2 p.m. I think, if I remember correctly, is what I set that as. So you can see that a little bit later on. Pretty cool kit, very minimal on the accessories, doesn't really come with hardly anything. But it's a cool design. And relatively cheap too, so I mean, yeah, if you can get it for cheap, it's not bad. So, like, I knew we were not gonna make it through that much of this kit in today's stream, but it's definitely been even a little bit slower than what I was expecting, but that's okay. I was planning on doing a couple of streams of this, so maybe instead of 2, we'll do 3? And even then, still, it's probably not going to cover the entire building process, but at least enough where you guys can see a good portion of just the kind of the initial building process of this kit over the course of a few live streams. And I know, in general, you know, I think there's been about around 70, 80 people watching so far on and off when I've taken a look at how many people are actually watching. Well, I guess that's, yeah. I know that there's not as much demand out there for wanting to see Machinen Krieger kits being built. They're just not as popular as Gundam and other stuff, of course, obviously. So, apologies for anyone who wants to see more live stream Gundam stuff. We will get back to that more later, of course. Have you ever built MG Proto Zero Wing? No, I've not. It's one that I've kind of always liked the look of. It always looks cool, but I've never actually pulled the trigger and got one. I almost did recently. I won 3rd place in that contest for the HD The Origin Facebook group contest that I joined, and I won 3rd place, and so I got to basically choose the prize that I wanted. And I was between the Proto Zero and I think like one other kit, and between a couple of kits, and what I ended up choosing is the Deathside Hell Custom. Is what I ended up choosing for my prize for that. So we got that here to review later, but I've got so many other things to review, and with that not being a new kit, it's lower on the priorities. But we'll be reviewing that kit later. And the Proto Zero, I'm sure at some point in time I'll build and review that kit as well too, because like I said, I do like the design of it. It's just not really been something I've been like, can't wait to build it. How do you rate the Unicorn MG EX 1 to 10? I mean, I would say, I mean, I don't know, 8 or 9. The big downsides of that kit for me is just that it's expensive. Obviously, that's the main thing that everyone's gonna mention. But the other thing is just that I think it's a really big missed opportunity that they didn't just make it a full armor Unicorn. I just think it's really dumb they included like half the full armor parts, but not all of them. So I wish that they would have just given us all the parts to make the full armor. So because of that, I kind of like was a little bit disappointed with it, to be honest. I wish they would have gone either one way or the other. Just given it just the basic accessories, like just like what came with the original Master Grade. It's the B Magnum, the bazooka, shield, and that's all. That would have been fine. Or gone like full armor with it, and that would have been, I think, ideal. But because they went like half full armor, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, you have a lot of accessories, which is great, but like not everything to make. No, it wasn't a ripoff. I wouldn't say that at all. It's not a ripoff because it's a great kit. It's a fantastic kit. So I mean, like, the price and the lack of the full armor accessories doesn't take anything away. It's just that those are things that you know, I could see as being, I don't know, reasons to be slightly disappointed with the kit. But the kit itself, there's nothing wrong with the kit itself. It's a fantastic kit. It looks great. The LED sheet works well. The ability to choose between red or green for LEDs is cool. It would have been cool if it was full RGB and you could choose whatever color you want, but that's kind of a fantasy world. Bandai's not gonna... They'll throw you a bone, but they're not gonna give you that much. So, I mean, for what it is, yeah, it's an amazing kit. And it's definitely probably the best unicorn kit out there. As far as, like, ultimately the best unicorn kit, I would put it in either the MGEX or the RG. If you take out, like, obviously differences in the scale, the price, these things, I mean, just kind of as just simply a kit of the unicorn, I think you can't really get better than either of those. So, yeah, MGEX unicorn. The accessories are a little bit puzzling. The price is very high. But otherwise, of course, it's a fantastic kit. Yes, Bond, we were talking about the MGEX. Do you know about the Motoroid Ikaruga? You probably don't watch the manga, anime, but is on your reviews. No, yes, yes, I know about the Motoroid Ikaruga kit, but I won't be reviewing that. I don't really like the style of it. It's pretty wild design. It's just not really to my taste, so that's why I won't be reviewing that one. But I mean, yeah, the kit looks pretty cool. Motoroid, I mean, I've reviewed a number of different Motoroid kits in general. I can just speak on, generally the quality of Motoroid kits is pretty good. It's not up to the same quality as Bandai's. You will have like a little bit of fitting issues and like seam lines and stuff like that. Probably won't be particularly very color accurate straight out of the box. But in general, the kits are pretty solid, the Motoroid line. Speaking of Motoroid, one Motoroid kit that is in my queue here, I do have one of the recent obsolete kits here that's in my review queue. This is the Toad. Anyway, so the version of the Toad with the big massive shield and cannon thing there. So they've been putting out kind of like waves of, no pun intended with the modeling company, but waves of those obsolete kits. And of the recent wave that came out, I just got that one, and so I won't be getting all of them. But that one looked particularly cool with that massive cannon and shield. You guys feeling high off this sticky green yet? No, don't do that. Need to drill a couple of holes in this side, opposite side, right here. Also hyped for my GPO2. Yeah, I'm trying to be. I'm trying to stay hyped for that kit. Honestly, it's a bit of a struggle to work on that kit, as I'm not super hyped on that project, to be honest. But I'm trying to stay on it, because I don't want to happen that I put the kit aside and then don't touch it for months and months and months. Because that can happen if I'm not really excited about a kit, but yeah, I'm trying to keep forcing, because when I'm working on it, I enjoy it, but it's not something that I'm like looking forward to. Yeah, I can't wait to get to the studio and work on a GPO2 today. It's not the case for that. Yeah, like the Tristan, exactly. So yes, I'm just like forcing myself to work on it, because then once I do, I'm enjoying it and it's going pretty well enough so far. Feng Shui style? I don't. Is that Feng Shui style? I don't know. Is that a thing in Feng Shui? You like force yourself to work on stuff? PC, right? Yes. Can you address my question above? Druta, sorry, what was the question? I'm building the wing 0 over Khan in a few hours. Anything I should pay attention to while snapping it together? No, not really. I don't really remember anything in particular noteworthy with that you like really need to be careful of when building that kit, so no, it'll be fine. With the wings, I guess with the feathers are numbered, and I don't really know how much this matters actually, because they seem pretty similar, so if you mix them up I don't think anyone would notice, but all the feathers for the wings are numbered differently, so when you're cutting those out and putting them on, just make sure you're paying attention to the numbers of them. So I think like with the high res, they had like the number actually on each part, if I remember correctly, so that made it really easy. But with the MG Verka, they don't have any sort of like cheat system there on them. You just have to keep everything organized so you know which parts are going where. So just pay attention to where you're putting the feathers in. But other than that, no special advice for that really. Ricky B said, not really big on the GPO2 design out there compared to other GPs. Yeah, I agree. So I thought about actually doing one of the HG, like GPO1 or GPO3 HG kit was something I was considering as well too, but I thought the MG would be a fun challenge as well too, just because it's so different. That good squeeze. All right. So, gonna be pretty much done for today here in a minute. So I appreciate y'all hanging out as always. And like I said, no, it's not as an exciting of a thing building one of these kits compared to the Gundam kit, where you can actually see the whole thing all come together in a short amount of time. It's a much more slower progress, but it's a different kind of thing. So hopefully you guys can appreciate that. Those of you guys who are into Machinen Krieger, or those of you who are curious about Machinen Krieger, or not really too familiar with it. I hope it's interesting enough just to kind of get a sense of what the kits are all about. A little bit more modeling involved, as you can see, but yeah, like I was mentioning to Cherie earlier, don't be intimidated by it. It's not that difficult. Is this your first live build? Cody, no. I did live build. I don't think I did any live builds for the Prowler, but I did do a live build working on the Cause, if I remember correctly. Just the one, I think, maybe before. That's all. Here. Can't get this piece in there. And yeah, if you guys are interested, just in general too, if you guys have not seen it, Lincoln over on his channel, Paint on Plastic by Lincoln Wright, he did an unboxing video for just the regular Grosser Hund, which is the original kit that this kit is based off of, just recently, and he shared a bunch of really cool like background information on it as well too, and stories from his experience working on the kit as well too. So if you guys are interested, if you've not seen that video, definitely go check that out over on his channel. That was fun to watch. So that is going to be it for most of the legs. We didn't finish the legs, but you know, most of the legs there at least put together. A lot more sanding to be done, removing the seam lines and everything on there, but we'll get to that in the future. In the next video, we'll finish the legs, and then probably, what's next? Working on the body? Yeah. So we'll finish the legs, and then start working on the chassis in the next live stream, which will be later this week. I've not decided if that will be when exactly, tomorrow or Thursday or Friday, one of those days anyway. Oh, there's Lincoln. Hey, what's going on, Link? Did you message me back? I felt bad because I kept thinking, like during the stream, I kept thinking, I wonder if you messaged me back, and I just hadn't checked it yet because I haven't checked my messages. Oh, okay, I see you just now messaging me back. Just finished work now, so are you just finishing too? Yes, yeah, Lincoln, yeah, I'm just finishing up for today. I'm gonna wrap it up here. But it'll be basically like the same time frame later this week. And like I was just mentioning, I don't know exactly which day it's going to be, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, but whichever day it is, maybe let me know. Link, send me a message. If you want to phone in and just kind of hang out and chat whilst I'm working on this in the next episode, no worries. Yeah, no sorry needed. Yeah, if you want to just hang out and chat one of those mornings later this week, if you got time, let me know which day works best for you, and I can just do it on that day. Thursday or Friday is good. Okay, maybe Friday morning. And you don't have to stay the whole time. Probably on that day as well too. I'll do another probably about 2.5-3 hours at that time as well too. So I mean, don't have to be around for the whole time, but if you want to just call, hang out, chat for a little bit, no worries. It'd be cool. Alright guys, so yeah, Friday, it's on. There you go. There it's decided. Friday we'll continue some work on this. Lincoln will call in, we'll have a chat. Not necessarily about this build or anything, I don't know. Just kind of see what we get up to. So that'll be cool. Thanks everybody for hanging out today. Bro Builder, Sturgetty, Deshevster, all friends of the show, and everyone else as well too. All familiar faces, Cody, Jerry, Corey, all you guys in there, and many, many more. DT Warrior in there as well too. I think I didn't say hi to you earlier. I saw your text there, but thanks for hanging out, guys. I'm going to make a new Zaku News video since we got a whole bunch of new photos and stuff today. Can I tell funny stories about your interview with Ma.K, or is it too soon? I mean, it's up to you, Link. We can just hang out. So if whatever stories you want to tell, that's fine. We don't have to be on any sort of plan for that. It'll just be working on the kit. Yeah, what was I saying? Yeah. So because we got a whole bunch of new photos from Bandai this morning, so I guess I'll make a new news video. So I'll work on that this afternoon, and that'll be posted on the USA Gundam TV channel. If you guys weren't aware, the news videos that I'm doing now are now on that on the USA Gundam Store channel, USA Gundam TV channel. So check those out if you're interested. I'll let you guys know my thoughts on the new photos and stuff we have from Bandai. But it just seems like from what I've seen so far, there's not a whole lot of new news, just some new photos basically. So maybe nothing super exciting, but check that out later. And then yeah, like I said, the Gelgu Jaeger review will be up here on my channel in a couple hours. That's scheduled for upload. And what else is in the queue? The Iron Man rescue suit review will be right up after that, and a few other things, including this little cutie guy over here, the Scope Dog. Lincoln, you got to get yourself one of these if you've not seen anything about this. Like with the Machinen tank kits from the same company. I don't know if you've seen anything about this or know about this, Lincoln. They made a little SD tiny little cutie Scope Dog kit as well too. So I got a little review of that I'll do for you guys as well too. So that'll be coming amongst many other things. I've got like a queue of like the next 6 videos kind of already basically just need to be edited. So no worries, Lincoln. Anyway, all right, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up for today. Gonna go grab some lunch, work on the news video. I'll see you guys later. Have a good day, and see you on Friday with Lincoln. Bye-bye, everyone.